Hello.
Hello.
Hey
How
man,
you
how
guys?
are you?
Hey, I'm doing really good, guys. How are you doing today?
Very good. Thanks for having us.
Hey, I appreciate it. Man, we have been smashing your song Bang. Like the just ever since it came out, we've just been absolutely smashing it. So as soon as they told me that you guys were going to be coming on and chit chat with me, I had to jump on the opportunity right away. So
Good. Nice.
I'm glad I could get you guys in here today and talk a little bit about everything that's going on. Your new single out, you got an album coming out. So I just want to, honestly, I just want to like dive right into it if you guys are cool with that.
Great.
So just released the single actually this was it last night or this morning? It was like last night, right?
Last night at midnight. Yeah.
Last night midnight. So first of all, congrats on that. That's awesome.
Thank you.
I will say this. I jumped in the hot tub last night. That was the first thing I listened to. It made the experience a lot better. it was a good time. It was a
Wow,
good time
you are lucky that you have a hot tub to jump into, period. Wow.
For sure, for sure. So I was listening to it. It's that upbeat that AJR theme to it. Can you give me like a little bit of like inside backstory? Just a little bit about like that song in general?
Yeah, it's so hard in a time like this to write upbeat songs, but I think it's like something that we're really proud of, where I think it's really easy to just be like, hey, the world's really messed up, everybody. Remember how messed up the world is? But it's really interesting to be like, hey, okay, we all know the world is messed up, but here's a weird way to look at it that maybe is a little more positive. And so we try to do that, especially with the singles, because when you turn on the radio, I like being, cheered up. That's a good feeling. So we like to do that for people. So with Way Less Sad, we definitely wrote about how we're feeling right now, which is like, all right, we're not as bad as last year. We're not all doomed anymore, but like, we're a little bit better. Is that an okay thing to celebrate?
For sure, for sure. Yeah. And like listening to it, like, yeah, like you said, it's a very upbeat, puts it kind of in that good mood. And like you guys, the brass instrumentals and all that, like it's always that AJR theme to it, which I really enjoy. And I know a lot of other people do as well. So really good job on that.
Thank you.
Tying into that with the upcoming album, OK Orchestra, which is dropping
March 26th. Yeah.
March 26th, that's dropping. The songs you have on that you have 4 out currently, right? That's going to be on that album, 3 or 4?
Yeah. 4 out. Yes, 4 out.
4 out with that. Is that going to, so with those 4 out, is that kind of going to be the theme for the rest of the album? Can we expect any like surprises? Like, or is it going to be just an authentic AJR straight to the bone?
Yeah, it's gonna be kind of all over the place, like the rest of our albums are. Every album that we put out has been really diverse in its sound. So you never really know what to expect. I guess I can't really compare the rest of the songs to the songs that have been out so far. They're all, except the lyrics, they're all very personalized and telling personal stories and weird emotions that we felt this year, and we really searched inward, kind of like Way Less Sad, those weird thoughts in the verses that are just like contemplating, should I do this, should I do this, these weird bits of happiness that we're feeling. The album is going to have that through line lyrically, but production wise it's going to be sort of all over the place.
Awesome. Just kind of like how this last year has been too. And I know you guys talked about with COVID and all that, it kind of put a dent on your guys's, you had a tour planned last year that obviously didn't happen due to COVID. My question about that is, if COVID didn't happen, would this album have been kind of created? Like, was this kind of like the inspiration to come out with this album and come out with these singles?
I'm guessing we wouldn't have written.
It wasn't really our plan to write an album this year. We were kind of hoping to just tour and then maybe even take a little break. And then COVID hit, and we were like, nah, this is the time that we need to do something productive and not just sit around being bored and feeling sorry for ourselves. And so
we did have Way Less Sad, that hook though, before COVID was a thing.
Oh yeah, you want to tell that story?
Yeah, we did. So what happened with Way Less Sad, it was really interesting. Way Less Sad started, I guess, 2 years ago. It was the conception, and it originally was a track that we wrote for Kygo, the artist.
Oh,
and
really?
With that hook, "Don't You Love It, No Unhappy," and that's all we had for him. And so we wrote a different, there was other stuff in there for him, but he didn't want it. So we were like, wait, this is such a great hook, we're gonna keep it for ourselves. And then the track was originally a song that we wrote for Cardi B that we sent to her label. They were not interested with the horn drop and like the big brass. They were not interested. We're like, wait, this is such a good track, we should keep it for us. And then we started combining those two things and then wrote the rest of the lyrics around that.
So it just came from a lot of like rejection, you know, and we were like,
I got
this
you.
is so good. So yeah, so that's how that came about.
Oh my God, that's so it's really interesting getting like the insight of like I would have had no idea that like Cardi B was like trying to get hooked up with that and Kygo and all that stuff. That's a really interesting insight. And I know you guys have been toying around. You have a lot of these weird features. And I know you talked about it on your guys' big live show, One Spectacular Night, which by the way, so sick. That show was so awesome.
Thank you.
You kind of explained a little bit of how you got the New York subway guy on the song Bang. Can you just like give me a little bit more like inside backstory on how that all went down?
Yeah. So the guy who goes "Here we go" in Metronome, there's a if you ride the New York City subway, the classic phrase is "Stand clear of the closing doors, please." You hear that every time you get to a stop. And anyone from New York, it's like that's just etched into their brains. So we had the idea to do Metronome and "Here we go," and originally it was just us recording it, going "Here we go," and we recorded our dad on it. We recorded our neighbor, and none of it was right. It just didn't have the right tone. And we knew this guy who does the voice of the subway because we did a remix of "Stand Clear of the Closing Doors, Please" on stage like 3 years before, and he had seen the video of it, and he got in touch with us, and we said, "Oh my God, we know the like such a great voice actor who can like nail this thing." So we sent it to him and he said, "Yeah, no problem. I'll send it right back." And it was super easy. He's nice as could be.
And it just fits in the song so perfectly well too. It sounds so good. It sounds so good. Man, there's a lot to talk about last year. I'm just kind of curious, what kept you guys kind of just like motivated? Like what was your guys' motivation last year? I know like a lot of people dealt with many different things throughout the year. What kept you guys kind of just like keep trucking along with like music wise and all that?
It wasn't easy. We definitely got unmotivated at times, thinking like, are we ever going to be able to go back out and play live shows? Like anytime we saw in the news of scientists don't think the world will return to normal until 2025, it was just like, okay, we can't write today. Like how can we possibly get excited today?
Right.
But honestly, it's just about powering through it. And if you love it enough, which we really do love writing music, it's really our escape and our therapy. You just power through and do it. And now it feels really good that everybody's saying that the world will hopefully go back to normal this year and we can tour.
Fingers crossed on that.
Yeah.
With that too, I mean, I mentioned before the One Spectacular Night, it was kind of like this drive-in movie theater experience that people were able to watch. Are you guys planning on doing anything else like that in the future, or are you kind of hoping that things kind of go back to in person and just kind of waiting on that?
We did we did a drive-in show and then we did One Spectacular Night. There were two different things.
Sorry, my bad.
Yeah. Honestly, with both, they were fun, but they're no match for a real live show. It was fun to give fans something to, latch onto and enjoy. But as soon as we can go do live shows again, we're going to be out there.
100%. I'm super, super excited about that. Final question that I have for you guys. Where we are, we're in Northeast Wisconsin. There's a lot of artists that seem to be struggling, kind of just getting their foot in the door. And I mean, you guys have been just an extreme success the last 4, 5, 6 years. Just constant grind and just upwards. What do you have advice-wise for artists trying to get their foot in the door? Like, I know you guys went through kind of like different phases. You guys were mentioning you kind of went through like just a straight hip hop phase. You went through just like these really weird phases. What was kind of your click? What was kind of like your foot in the door? Like, do you have any advice for people trying to do that?
Yeah, I think a couple things. I think, well, you kind of just said it, that it took 6 or 7 years. I think it's the low-hanging fruit is to go viral on TikTok. I don't think really that should be anybody's goal, because that's not.
It's good if it happens on the side, I guess.
Yeah,
it only helps. It's definitely not the goal.
That's not a career. That I can tell you that also doesn't make you enough money to last a full career. So I think your goal should be to have more fans this year than you had last year. That's really been our goal every year. It's been like, let's do a show that's cool enough that this guy wants to tell this friend, and then bring that friend, and then this friend wants to tell that friend. So it's really just been like inch by inch, little by little each year. And then the other thing is Like you said, with the phases, you're right. We went through that like hip hop phase and the folk phase and the very Broadway theatrical phase. And I don't regret any of it. All of it kind of came together to be what you hear now as AJR. So my other advice is experiment a lot and see if you can make an African song, or like go totally outside what's popular right now, because it's really fun and it'll make you better at producing.
So go completely out of your comfort zone, experiment and all that. I do have another question with you. Going off that TikTok thing, TikTok, it seems to very oddly shaped the music industry and kind of like gave this like new outlet. But like you mentioned, like it's not like a permanent thing. It seems like you have one viral song that goes up, but you need to like keep at it. Do you think like that TikTok music era kind of mold is going to kind of stay around? Do you think how am I trying to word that? Do you think that I'm trying to think how I want to word this.
It's a great question. Yeah.
That mold is going to stay like that. Are people going to be able to still blow up on TikTok, let's say a year or two from down the road? Do you think that it's going to keep going down that road? Or do you think that it's going to kind of go back into how it was prior to TikTok, if that makes sense? Does that make sense? I worded that really bad. I apologize.
It makes complete sense. Yeah.
I think whether it's TikTok or the next app, there'll always be some new crazy platform and new technology to get music out there. I think we'll probably see more and more that music is going to be paired with other things, that it's going to be more of like the soundtrack to this GIF or the soundtrack to the things that you're doing in your own life, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing at all. It's just like a new way to use music.
And also everything goes in cycles. You know, there was a time period where it was the coolest thing to download a song off of iTunes and make it your ringtone on your phone. And it was only a small portion of the song that was being used. And then that fell out of fashion. And now we're back to a point where people are only using small portions of songs. So this kind of like cutting out to just the chorus or just a couple of lines has been in fashion before, and then it fell out of fashion. Now it's in fashion again. And then it's going to fall out of fashion again, and then it's going to be something else. And I think we need to be prepared for, you know, all different types of futures. But the thing that doesn't go out of fashion is songs in their entirety and people listening to the songs.
Right. And then really, I'm realizing now, like, I think the dangerous thing about TikTok is that there obviously have been so many hits from there. And those hits are so like general and can be played in any context. There's what's the one dangerous thing about TikTok is that so many like the trends now are songs for this feeling, like for like, there's that, I'm blanking on any names. There are specific songs for the road trip, and it's that song behind every road trip TikTok. But when you're listening to that song in real life, all you're going to think about is, okay, I can only listen to this during the road trip. It doesn't make sense to be listening to this at work because I don't want to be in that state of mind. It's the same thing with like movie scores. If you listen to, the Little Miss Sunshine soundtrack, you're only going to be imagining going down the highway. It feels weird to listen to that at the beach, So I feel like that's sort of the dangerous thing. You can be pigeonholed in that state of mind, which is sort of interesting. So that could prevent you from having the major breakout hit.
That is actually, that is really interesting. I never really thought of it that way. It just, you don't want to like label yourself as like one different kind of emotion. And I think that's what you guys did really good with, obviously, this upcoming album, is that you guys just have a mixture of emotions in these songs. And I think it works really good in that regard. Super interesting. Thank you guys for that insight on that. But AJR, brand new single out, Way Less Sad. It is out everywhere if you want to check it out. They have an upcoming album coming out March 26th. March 26th. Okay, thank you. I got it. Adam, Jack, Ryan, thank you guys so much for coming to hang out with me today.
Thank you. Thanks for the talk.
Peace out, guys.